The Hazy's family dinners were always the same. Too much wine, too many fake smiles, and me shoved into the role of disappointment. I had barely sat down when my father cleared his throat. "Daniel," he said, his voice sharp enough to cut glass, "how's that little project of yours? Still wasting time with it?" I set down my fork. "It's not a little project. It's a business. A business," he chuckled, shaking his head. "Richard Hayes' youngest son, reduced to playing entrepreneur with no results. Tell me, when are you going to grow up and get a real job?" I felt heat crawl up my neck. I had a setback, but Aaron cut me off, smirking across the table. "Setback? That's a kind way to put it. What you mean is, you lost everything again?" I gritted my teeth. It was one failure. At least I took a risk. "Risk?" Aaron leaned back, swirling his wine. "You call begging investors for scraps a risk? You've been nothing but a charity case in this family." "Dad's right. You've embarrassed us all." I slammed my hand against the table. "Don't talk to me like I'm useless. You don't know half the work I've put in." Mother sighed loudly, placing her napkin down. "Daniel, stop embarrassing everyone. Can't you behave like a grown man for once?" I turned to her. "Embarrassing. I've been trying, fighting, failing, and trying again. That's not embarrassment. It's life." She shook her head, not even looking at me. "Life?" "No, life is stability, success, something you've never been able to hold on to." I pushed back my chair. "You all think I'm some kind of failure? But at least I haven't sold my soul for appearances." Father's voice cracked like a whip. "Sit down." "No," I said firmly. "Not this time." Aaron laughed. "Look at him, storming off like a child. Classic Daniel. Always running away when it gets hard." I glared at him. "At least I don't crush people to look strong." "One day you'll see the cost of your arrogance." He smirked. "Please." "I'm the heir. You're the cautionary tale." I grabbed my coat. "If that's what you want me to be, fine. But remember this moment. Remember every word you've said." Mother's voice was flat. "Where are you going?" "Out," I said. "And don't expect me to come back." I made it to the front door before Father barked, "You'll regret turning your back on this family." I looked back just once. "No, I'll regret wasting so much time trying to earn your approval." And then I walked out, the door slamming. Behind me, their voices muffled by the thick wood. Later that night, I sat on the steps outside my small apartment staring at the streetlights. My phone buzzed with messages from old friends, but none from my family. I muttered to myself, "The black sheep, huh? Fine, I'll be the black sheep, but one day they'll see me differently." The words hung in the air, half a promise, half a curse. I wasn't going back. Not until they needed me more than I ever needed them. I sat at the cafe with my laptop open, bills scattered around the table. The numbers didn't lie, was barely keeping afloat. Sophie slid into the seat across. "From me, you look like hell." "Thanks," I muttered. She leaned forward. "You've been grinding for months. Something's got to give. Tell that to my bank account." She opened her tablet and turned it toward me. "Then explain this." On the screen was a glossy article. Hayes Corp expands into green tech. Sultriz, that's my pitch deck. Sophie's eyes narrowed. "You're sure?" "I'm positive." "Solar integrated housing modules, that was mine. I showed it to Aaron 6 months ago." Her jaw tightened. "Then he stole it." My hands curled into fists. Of course he did. That night, I stormed into my parents' house. They were in the sitting room, sipping wine like royalty. Father looked up. "Daniel, surprised you'd show your face." I ignored him and turned. Mother, did you know Aaron stole my business idea?" Aaron strolled in behind me, smirking. "Careful with accusations, little brother." I rounded on him. "Don't play games. You took my deck, my concept, even my pitch structure. You paraded it as your own." He shrugged. "Maybe you inspired me. You've always been better at dreaming than doing." "Dreaming?" I snapped. "That was months of research. My blood and sweat." Father slammed his glass down. "Enough you think you can march in here and slander your brother? He's building a legacy while you wallow." I stared at him in disbelief. You actually believe him? Mother sighed. Daniel. Jealousy doesn't suit you? Jealousy? My voice cracked. I'm not jealousy. Robbed. Aaron chuckled. You never had what it took. I just did what you couldn't turn an idea into success. I stepped closer, fists shaking. You'll choke on that success? Threats now? Aaron sneered. Proves my point, sure. Unstable. Father's voice cut through the tension. Daniel, you will never amount to anything. Accept that and stop humiliating yourself. The words hit harder than any punch. I looked at him, at all of them. One day, you'll regret this. Every single one of you. Mother waved me off. Please, Daniel, spare us the drama. I turned and walked out, their laughter echoing behind me. Outside, Sophie was leaning against her car. So, took his side, I muttered. She clenched her jaw. Of course they did. I kicked the gravel. He stole everything and they called me jealous. Sophie touched my arm. Then stop looking for their approval. Build it yourself. Prove them. Wrong. I looked at her. And if I fail again, then fail better, she said. Don't quit. That night, lying in bed, my father's words replayed in my head. You will never amount to anything. I stared at the ceiling, whispering to the dark, I'll make you eat those words. And for the first time in months, the fire in me burned. Hotter than the fear, Sophie leaned over my cluttered desk, scanning the papers. You've got the bones of something big here. I rubbed my eyes. Bones don't pay rent. She tapped the numbers with her pen. They will. You just need an investor who isn't blind. I snorted. Everyone in this city already worships. Aaron? Who's going to believe me? Someone who values grit over gloss, she said firmly. Leave Aaron out of it. Focus on your idea. We spent nights refining the pitch. She grilled me like an enemy. Why would I give you a dime? She challenged, because I've solved a housing efficiency problem your competitors can't touch. I fired back. She smirked. Better. Keep that edge. Investors smell weakness. 2 weeks later, Sophie arranged a meeting. I sat across. From Henry Cross, a sharp-eyed man with more presence than his tailored suit. He flipped through my deck silently. The wait was torture. Finally, he looked up. Everyone's chasing green housing. What makes you think you can win where bigger players stumble? I took a breath. Because I've failed before. I know what doesn't work. I know exactly where to cut costs without cutting quality. His lips curved slightly. Confidence. Dangerous, but useful. How much are you asking? $500,000 to start, I said. I'll turn it into triple inside 2 years. He studied me, then glanced at Sophie. She gave a subtle nod. Fine, he said. I'll back you. He left. I collapsed into the chair. Did that just happen? Sophie grinned. That just happened. I laughed for the first time in weeks. I thought he'd throw me out. You didn't give him the chance, she said. That's growth. The next months blurred into work-long nights, endless calls, constant problem-solving, but every small win added fuel. One afternoon, Sophie tossed a contract on my desk. First project signed. You're officially in business. I stared at the papers, my chest tight. It's real now. More than real, she said. It's traction. The kind Aaron can't stop. At dinner one night, she raised her glass. To Daniel Hayes, the man who refuses to stay down. I clinked her glass. To Sophie Bennett, the woman who refuses to let me quit. I kept quiet, staying under the radar. No press, no public announcements. Let Aaron think I was still broke, but inside, I was waiting for the perfect moment to show them all just how wrong they had been. Sophie slid a newspaper across the cafe table. Front page. Hayes Corp merger collapsed. I skimmed the headline, then the angry photo of Aaron outside an office building. Couldn't have happened to a better man. She leaned back. It gets worse. Lawsuits are piling up. Investors want blood. I smirked. Guess my genius brother isn't bulletproof after all. 2 nights later, Sophie texted me, dinner drama. You'll like this. She sent a link to a video. Aaron stormed out of a fancy restaurant, cameras flashing, his tie undone. He shoved past reporters yelling, "Ask the board, not me." I replayed it twice. The man who called me a charity case now looked like a spoiled child. 3 days later, my phone rang. The caller ID made my stomach twist, mother. I almost let it go to voicemail. Curiosity got the better of me. "What do you want?" Her voice was clipped. "Daniel, we need to talk." I laughed. The last I checked, I was cast out. "This isn't the time for pride," she snapped. "No, that was your line to me, remember? Stop embarrassing everyone." She sighed. "Your brother is under immense pressure. We're concerned." "You mean you're cornered?" "Don't be cruel." I shook my head. "After everything you said, why call me now?" "Because," she said quietly, "we may need your help." I almost hung up. Instead, I said, "I'll think about it," and ended the call. Later that night, there was a knock at my apartment door. When I opened it, a woman stood there, elegant but tired. "Daniel?" she asked softly. "Yes, I'm Olivia, Aaron's wife." I frowned. "What are you doing here?" She glanced down the hallway, then back at me. "Else to turn to?" I let her in cautiously. "You've got 5 minutes." She sat, folding her hands tightly. "Aaron's in trouble. Serious trouble, not just bad deals, shady ones. Money moving where it shouldn't." I raised an eyebrow. "Why tell me?" "Because you're not blind," she said. "The rest of them worship him. But if this gets out, he'll take the whole family down with him." I leaned back. "So you want me to what? Save him?" Her eyes searched mine. "No. I want you to know the truth, so when they come begging, you'll understand what you're stepping into." The next day, Sophie cornered me at the office. "You look like you've seen a ghost. Olivia came by last night." Her eyebrows shot up. Runs. "Wife, what did she want?" "To warn me." "Said he's hiding more than anyone realizes." Sophie smirked. "Surprise, surprise. He's dirty." She didn't sound like she wanted him saved. She was probably looking out for herself. I nodded slowly. Either way, the cracks are showing. That evening, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Father. I stared at the screen. "Debating, then," I answered. "Daniel," his deep voice said. "Father, your mother tells me you were dismissive." I was honest. "We're a family. Families help each other." I laughed. "You mean I help Aaron?" There was a pause. "He's still your brother." "Funny. Didn't feel like it when you said I'd never amount to anything." His tone hardened. "Put the past aside. We need you now." I let the silence stretch, then said, "We'll see," and hung up. That night I stared out my window. At the city lights. For years I had been the forgotten one, the disappointment. Now they were unraveling, and for the first time, they were calling me. I almost felt pity. Almost, but underneath, something darker stirred. They were going to regret everything they ever said. The knock on my apartment door was sharp, but hesitant. When I opened it, Aaron stood there. His tailored suits had been replaced by rumpled clothes, his hair unkempt, his eyes bloodshot. "Daniel," said, voice rough. I folded my arms. Well? "The golden boy finally visits the black sheep." "What's the occasion?" He exhaled. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside slowly. "Make it quick." He dropped onto the couch, rubbing his face. "We're in trouble." I leaned against the counter. "We, my company, the lawsuits, the debts, they're worse than you think." I smirked. "Imagine." My shock. His glare flickered, then faded. "I need your help." My help? The guy who would never amount to anything? "Daniel, please," he said, his voice cracking. "We're on the verge of collapse. If we don't secure this next deal, it's over." "What makes you think I care?" "Because you know the investor," he said quickly. "Henry Cross. He trusts you. He doesn't trust me." I walked closer. "So let me get this straight. You stole my idea, took all the credit, called me pathetic, and now you're begging me to vouch for you?" His jaw tightened. I tilted my head. "Say that again." He swallowed hard. "I need your help." I grinned faintly. "That's a first." Silence stretched between us until I said, "Why shouldn't I let you burn?" "Because if I fall, the family falls with me," he said. "You think you're ready to watch?" "That I leaned down slightly. After everything they said about me, I think I could watch it with popcorn. His face twisted. You don't mean that, don't I? He stood suddenly. You've always wanted to prove yourself. This is your chance. If I go down, it won't make you better. It'll just make you bitter. I smirked. Maybe I'll try both. Daniel, damn it, he snapped. I'm asking you straight. Help me. I let the silence hang, enjoying the shift of power. I'll think about it. His shoulders sagged. That's all I can ask. At the door, I stopped him. Aaron. He turned, eyes tired. Yeah, I smiled coldly. Feels different when I'm the one holding the cards, doesn't it? Didn't answer, just left. When the door closed, I sat back on the couch, my pulse still racing, for the first time in my life. Aaron Hayes needed me, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to save him more. Watch him drown. The dining room felt colder than usual as I stepped inside. Every seat was filled, father at the head, mother beside him, Aaron stiff in his chair, and Olivia quietly watching. Father gestured, sit. I pulled out the chair across from Aaron. So, this is the emergency meeting? Mother folded her hands. We're in a crisis, Daniel. The lawsuits, the debts, Aaron cut in. We wouldn't be here if you'd just agreed to help when I asked. I smirked and missed the chance to lay down terms. Not a chance. Father frowned. Terms. Yes. If you want my help, you'll play by my rules. Aaron slammed his hand on the table. This isn't a negotiation. I leaned forward. It is now, he sneered. You think one lucky investor makes you powerful? You're still nothing. Compared to sit down, Father snapped, his tone sharper than I'd ever heard. Aaron froze, stunned. I let the silence stretch, then said, here are my conditions. One, you all acknowledge what you did to me? Out loud? No more pretending I was the problem? Mother stiffened. Daniel, too, I continued, ignoring her. You publicly back my company. You'll show the world that Hayes' money and Hayes' name stand behind me. Without hesitation, Aaron shot to his feet. Never. I won't humiliate myself for him. Father's voice cracked again. Sit down. Aaron glared at me but obeyed, sinking back into his chair. Mother's voice wavered. Daniel, you're asking us to what? Apologize? Yes, I said simply. Admit you were wrong. Admit you cast me out, belittled me, called me worthless. Say it. Her lips pressed tight. Olivia spoke softly for the first time. He's right, you did. Aaron whipped his head toward her. Whose side are you on? The side of survival, she said evenly. Father cleared his throat. Fine, we may have been harsh. I shook my head. Not enough. Say it. His eyes narrowed. But then he said, we were wrong. Mother looked like she'd swallowed poison. We were wrong. Aaron muttered. This is pathetic. I smirked. Say it louder, Aaron. He gritted his teeth. We were wrong. The room fell silent. For the first time, I felt the weight shift in my favor. Mother finally said, if this is what it takes for you to help, then yes, we'll support your company, publicly. I studied their faces, the anger, the resentment, the humiliation, and beneath it all, desperation. Good, they hated me for forcing them down, but they needed me more than they hated me. I leaned back, folding my arms. Then we have a deal. But don't think for a second I've forgotten. This is my game now. Henry Cross's office smelled of leather and old money. He studied me across the polished desk. You're telling me, he said slowly, that I should put money into a sinking ship because you'll be steering it? Yes, I said firmly. If Aaron stays in charge, it collapses. I run it, I'll turn it around. His eyebrow lifted, that confident. I leaned forward. I don't waste your time with empty promises. You know my record? You've seen my numbers. I deliver. Henry tapped his pen, and Aaron. I glanced at my brother, slouched beside me. Dead weight. Ren bristled. I built this company. I turned to him, stole your foundation, and set fire to the rest. You built nothing. Henry chuckled softly. Enough, my condition. It's clear Daniel runs operations. You want my money? That's the deal, Aaron exploded. You can't do this. This is my company. Henry's voice was cold. Correction. Without me, it's bankruptcy court's company. Decide, Hayes. Father shifted uncomfortably. Aaron, swallow your pride. Aaron slammed his fist against the armrest. You're siding with him? With him? Said quietly. Looks like you don't have a choice. He glared at me, hatred burning in his eyes. Fine. Outside the office, Aaron grabbed my arm. You think this makes you a leader? You're just a parasite. I shook him off. Funny, parasites don't end up in charge. They die with the host. His jaw clenched. This isn't over, I smiled faintly. It already is. The next week, the press release went live. Daniel Hayes appointed coup. With restructuring Hayes Corp., I walked into headquarters the next morning. The employees whispered, some shocked, some curious. Aaron followed behind me, silent, red-faced. In the boardroom, I laid out the plan. Here's how we stabilize. Cut excess. Renegotiate contracts. Rebuild trust. This won't be pretty, but it'll work. An older board member asked. And Aaron? I didn't look at him. He'll follow my lead. Aaron slammed his hand. On the table, I won't take orders from him. Henry's voice cut through from the speakerphone. Then step down, Mr. Hayes. My investment stays only if Daniel calls the shots. The room went silent. Aaron sank back into his chair, humiliated. After the meeting, Sophie called. So, how'd it go? I grinned into the phone. I'm his boss now, she laughed. The universe has a sense of humor. It's more than humor, I said. It's justice. That evening, Aaron cornered me in the hallway. His voice was low, venomous. I'll never respect you. You don't have to, I said calmly. You just have to listen. He stepped closer, face inches from mine. One day you'll slip. And when you do, I'll bury you. His glare, you already tried, I'm still here, stronger than you'll ever be. Walking out of the building, I should have felt triumphant. Watching him bow under my authority was everything I once dreamed of, but beneath the satisfaction, something twisted in me. Aaron looked broken, it's almost human, and I wondered if the victory I wanted so badly was going to change me into something I didn't recognize. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Unknown numbers, familiar ones, all suddenly remembering I existed. At dinner with Sophie, I tossed the phone on the table. 3 calls from Aunt Claire, 2 from Uncle James, and a message from Cousin Beth inviting me to Sunday brunch. Sophie raised an eyebrow. The same Beth who once told you you'd never make it? Very one, I muttered. She smirked. Let me guess. They all want favors now that you're the one in charge. I sighed. Exactly. Invitations, pleasantries, fake warmth. It's exhausting. Then don't go, she said flatly. I poked at my food. Part of me wants to. Just to see their faces when they pretend I was always part of the family. She leaned forward. Part of you knows it's not affection, it's convenience. Yeah, I admitted. Convenience tastes bitter, though. The next day. At the office, Olivia stopped me in the hallway. Dinner at our place tonight, my mother-in-law insists. I gave a short laugh. Your mother-in-law once said, I was a stain on the Hayes name. Olivia tilted her head. Also said she'd never let Aaron marry me. People change their tunes when they're desperate. I've studied her. And what about you? You. Desperate, too. Her lips curved faintly. I'm realistic. That evening, I went anyway. The dining room buzzed with forced cheer. Daniel, Aunt Claire gushed. So proud of you. We always knew you had it in you. I smiled thinly. Always, Uncle James clapped my back. You're the backbone of the family now, Funny, I said. Last I checked, I was the embarrassment. Laughter bubbled around the table, brittle and false. Later, outside on the balcony, Sophie called, You went, didn't you? Yeah, and they toasted to me. It felt hollow, like they were clapping for the title, not for me. Voice was sharp. That's because they are. Don't mistake survival for love. I rubbed my forehead. You always cut through the noise. That's my job, she said gently. The next morning in the boardroom, I noticed Aaron sitting at the far end of the table, eyes glued to his notes, never once meeting mine. When the meeting ended, he slipped out quickly, shoulders hunched. Watched him go, and the realization struck me. He was living the life I used to ignore. It's diminished and visible, and I was the one casting the shadow now for a moment. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost the boardroom felt different now. Steady. Calm. The fires had been put out. The numbers were climbing again, and Hayes Corp wasn't drowning anymore. I'd done it. Sophie met me for lunch that afternoon. "You realize you're officially the one holding it all together, right?" I chuckled. "Strange, isn't it? Months ago I was the screw-up. Now I'm the savior." She leaned in. "So what's next? Keep running their circus or finally build your own empire?" I smirked. "Both. Why settle?" That weekend I got the invitation. Family dinner at the Hayes estate. Sophie raised an eyebrow when I told her. "Going back to the lion's den?" "I need to see it through," I said. "One last time." The dining table was set exactly. Like the night they cast me out, to much silverware, too many forced smiles. Mother kissed my cheek. "Daniel, it's so good to have you home." "Home," I repeated quietly. Father raised his glass. To Daniel. "Without him, we wouldn't be standing here." The table clapped politely. I gave a small nod. "Thank you." Dinner carried on. With fake warmth, halfway through, Father cleared his throat. "We're proud of you." I studied him. "Proud?" "Yes," he said firmly. "You've proven yourself." But I could hear the silence in between the words. "Because we have to be." I smiled politely. "I didn't do it for your pride." Mother's fork froze mid-air. "What do you mean?" "I mean," I said evenly, "I didn't rebuild this company for your approval. I did it because I could." "Because you told me I couldn't." Aaron finally spoke, his voice low. "You've taken everything." Turned to him. "No, Aaron, I just stopped letting you take everything from me." He looked away, shame flickering across his face. After dessert, I stood. "Thank you for dinner," Mother frowned. "Leaving so soon?" "Yes." I slipped on my coat. "I don't belong here anymore." Father's voice sharpened. "Daniel," I raised a hand. "No, I came tonight to prove something to myself, and I did. I don't need this table. I don't need your applause." At the door, Mother called softly, "You'll come back, won't you?" I turned, meeting her eyes. "No, not anymore." Stepped out into the night, the mansion glowing behind me. But it wasn't mine. It never had been. As I walked down the path, I felt lighter, freer, for the first time. I wasn't the black sheep. I was just me, and that was enough.